straight, you see the pain in me. Pray before you come my way. Took your pride, so lay your life. The cross's prayers won't bring you light. Straight, you see the pain in me. Pray before you come my way. Took your pride, so lay your life.
I got coffee on my cock! Ow! Oh, it burns! Oh,
it burns so good.
Alright, so I'm putting this alternator back in real quick. So delete kit comes with a lot of hardware, so I'll just show you where everything goes real quick. So, take my light off my head. Okay, I'm gonna get this guy in, just a short little Allen, no spacer. Then this long Allen bolt and a spacer. Mine still had a little gap, so I added a little washer too, so it didn't stress that out. And then just bolt your pulley down. It's pretty simple. That's how that goes. Then on the bottom, you got this plate with the two big Allens. They're pretty short. And they got a small spacer behind them. And then, hold on. I gotta get your pulley on too. This is the alternator I got. Just be careful which way your plug's coming out, so you don't hit your radiator. As far as this guy goes, you got a spacer right there, this long bolt, and a short one. No spacers on this side. And then on the bottom, you're gonna have these two long bolts. Go through these holes, and then you'll have a spacer, these spacers on the back, so they'll be like that. And then just put your nut on the back side of that, and that's pretty much it. And then just get your tension right with this guy. And that's the alternator install. Alright, so I'm going to try to mount this EP3 style pulley and get rid of my alternator relocation. That's mainly because I want to get rid of this traction bar and put my other front cross member in there. But I don't know if it's going to work exactly. Couldn't really find anyone that did it. Everyone just relocates their alternator, but my engine's in the lower, I suppose, the K24 mounting spot. Gives up a little ground clearance, but my hood shuts. Oh, after I notched that little piece. Still gotta clean all that up, but yeah, just for your valve cover right there. And she closes. So I had to trim out the headlight here a little bit. Let's see, like so. I can cut off a piece of this bracket for the headlight, but let me mount the alternator in. I'll show you. All right, so here's the alternator mounted in. This is a 200 amp alternator, so it's got a slightly smaller pulley. See how that affects my belt length. But, I mean, this is a stock pulley. You could trim a little more. out of here if you need to. But now I just need to mount the pulley and tensioner right here. I just cleaned the screen behind here because it's easy to get to when this is all off. And yeah, let me mount that real quick. All right, so I got the tensioner about installed. Your bolts holding it on. Go to 16 foot-pounds, and then just adjust the pulley up and down until the tensioner arrows in your window right here. That's it. All right, so I got the tensioner and the pulley on here. This is the belt, comes with it. Here's the belt I took off, which is just a little shorter. I tried it to try to, ideally we want this to mount as low as possible, but it's too short. With this one, it's about midway when I got proper tension. If I had the stock pulley on the alternator, then this could move a little lower if I needed to. But I think it'll clear the hood just fine right there. So yeah, I'm gonna put this belt on real quick. All right, so the belt's all on. My tensioner's about perfect. And shut the hood. See if I could show you the gap. Kind of hard to see. Try to like swing my camera in here, but it looks pretty good where it's at. I can always move that pulley a little lower if I change out to a shorter belt or switch that alternator pulley out. But we'll see if it rubs. I don't think it will. And yeah, now I can put my other cross member in here and get rid of this traction bar. Let's see. So yeah, these are like, this is the eBay brand, but like 50 bucks as opposed to a relocation kit, which is about 100. Both are eBay. If you want K-tuned, then shit. I think this EP3 K-tuned is about 200 bucks. But I'll try this one out, see if it works. Yeah, it's only gonna work if you're in the lower, if you're in this upper mount spot, then you might have issues. Yeah. All right, so here's where I'm mounting the battery. They make kits that go outside your frame rails if you want, or put it in the trunk, whatever you want to do. But I just held this battery box in there, marked out the holes, and put in some nut certs. I did drill through this front cross member a hole right there. But then I used these spacers left over from my shifter base plate I didn't use, and just some bolts and washers. And then laid a little rubber inside there. I might shave down this bolt a little. I don't want it to rub into the battery. But yeah, I'll bolt it in real quick. Alright, so the battery's all bolted in place here. I think I like it right here. Not too bad. Pretty solid. everything fit pretty good. I just had to notch. There's a little bolt right here. Just cut off this bolt or notch this a little. That's about it. I mean, works for me. All right, on to this VW radiator install. So first, you gotta kind of, oh, look at that spider. Trim out your core support. So I went off these 3 holes for my straight line and cut all the way across to these big holes on the ends. That should get you pretty close. Then on the bottom, I went off this hole, the edge of that, to the one over here. Just lay some tape across, grind it out. Then, at least with this style, this eBay Best traction bar, I used M6 1.0 thread. I think I drilled with I think it's a 13/64 drill bit, tapped it, and put in just the little spacers so it doesn't hit the bar when it comes out. And I mean, you could use like angle iron or something and weld it on here. Do whatever you gotta do. That'd be nice too. But that's what I did for now. I mean, it's pretty solid. I think it's gonna work fine. These VW radiators do not come with studs on the proper side because it's flipped around. So I just drilled and tapped this, the same threads as those. Then you need something 1/2 inch. I just got 2 nuts on here for now, but I'll get something around a little spacer at the store when I go. Or you could, I mean, the best way to do it would be to weld a piece of 1/2 inch aluminum on there and everything like that. I had to grind this little guy off because it's pretty close to the alternator right here. What else to tell you? Oh yeah, my Kswap hoses, radiator hoses I bought were not gonna work. But for the bottom, I took the one off my B series. There's your part number. That actually fit pretty surprisingly well on there. And then I just have this little swivel adapter on this, and your dash temp sensor. I plug that part, I cap that off. I think they make little kits for this. But yeah, your top radiator hose, I ended up just cutting one of those Kswap hoses I got with the fan switch on it, and yeah, just hooked it there, put my inline fill. Then you get this 1.25" or 32 mil, whatever it is, at the auto parts store, just the flexible stuff. I think this one's like a foot long or something. What else to tell you? I mean, I got a bag of this trim that's gonna go right along here so it won't squeak or grind or whatever. But I'll bolt it in. I'll bolt it all in and show you how she goes. Okay, so there's the radiator all mounted in. Laid my little rubber strip down, top and bottom. Top hose, bottom hose is on. Just need to slide my fan in right here. Just got a little slim one. Mount that. Oh, you're also gonna have to make some top mounts. So just take a piece of flat iron and bend it up to these 2 holes. Then tap them or put in a nut cert and just a little rubber grommet. slide it on. I still gotta make one for this side too. But I mean, it's pretty solid right now. And that's it. That's all there is to the radiator. And that's how the bottom looks. Yeah. All right. So I got some new coolant housings. Here's this. This is still a swivel, but this mount right on the block. Unlike the cheaper swivel. This one's. But I mean, this setup works perfectly fine. I just want to clean it up a little bit, I guess. And it has a fan switch port. You have to drill through if you want to use it, which I think I will. So this ugly thing isn't hanging there. Just run the wire down there. There's my temp sensor already put in. And here's your 3/8 MPT ports. It's a good idea to keep at least one open, so when this is shut, you still have coolant moving to the head. So that's that. And with another plug. And those two fittings as well. And the bolts. This one's a k20 one for the upper. That's the filler neck. Hardware. Fitting. Hand fitting. Slide this out. Alright. And this guy. Oh, of course the sticker. Gotta have the sticker. Alright. So, I'm just gonna pull this off. Those 4 12mm. Put a little rag in case there's a little residual in there. But add that on there. Unplug that so it doesn't hit. Alright, hold on. Alright, so I got the upper housing off. Besides these 2 studs. Just use the 2 nuts you took off. Tighten them together and then break it loose. That one's loose, just have to do that one. There's that housing. Started putting this together. I plugged off my heater cord because it's out of the car at the moment. Not really needed in Arizona that much. I left that a little loose for now. A little nut on there. Until I mount it, so I could get it straight up. And then I still have this hose running down to there. And okay, let me get it mounted. Okay, so everything is on. I needed a new 17-inch hose. This is the gates, there's the part number and specs. The 15-inch was just about 2 inches too short. So that's long enough now. No cap, I needed a new cap. You can see the difference in diameter there. So that should work. I'm waiting on my tank to hook to here so I can get rid of my fucking Powerade bottle. I got a new digital temp. There's the sensor there. And I think this housing has 2 options, one that goes like mine and one that comes straight out. So choose the one that works for you. I got my thermostat housing mounted down to the block. I drilled it for the fan switch. I need to hook, that's for my cluster temp. That's about it. I ended up RTVing. I RTV'd this to the head. I read some people having problems with the O-ring sealing and leaks, so just trying to avoid that. And what else is going on? I'm about to pull the valve cover off, adjust the valves, probably paint that. I have emissions, so I put my charcoal canister right there. It's the purge solenoid. I just have to wire it to the ECU. And I don't know if I mentioned it before, but with these style intakes, you have to Dremel for the hole for your idle air control to work properly. Or if you just want to delete your idle air control valve, some people do that, but I wanted mine to function. Anyways, so yeah, just getting stuff done. All right, so with this traction bar, the radiator to the alternator clearance is a little tight, and these traction bars that mount with those 3 bolts, during a hard brake or acceleration, this bar might move a little. I've had them before, and you'll hear a little clunk because there's a little play built into those holes. And since the radiator is mounted to it, we don't want that. So you're gonna wanna take some 1.5" angle iron and use one of your stock bolt holes, and then drill one into the cross member right here, and that should keep the back and forth play, or get rid of it. So you want a real precise fit with these holes. So I'll show you what I did. Just put a little grease around that hole, take your angle iron, hold it flush against this, and then all the way, press it up there. You'll get a little circle. Just punch the middle of it. Then you're gonna wanna drill that to a 15-30 seconds. And then, let's see, here's your stock bolt. You need to go get a 60 mil length at the hardware store. Drill that out, and then just once that's mounted up, drill a hole straight through here, through the angle iron. And you should be good to go. There's my bolt. It's all in. And that should keep my radiator from hitting into the alternator. So yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna replace my traction bars. I didn't really like them. They're a little short. There's not a lot of thread engagement on there, and it's aluminum. So I just got some steel ones. They sent me 2 different sizes, which is awesome. I guess I'll just see what one fits better and send the other one back. So I'm just gonna pop this all apart real quick. All right, so just kind of test fitting the bar here. This one's almost, this is a 17.5 length one, and it's almost full engagement on the threads. Here's the old bar. That's all I had. Which is a little uncomfortable. And the old bar. I think this was a 16, and this is a 17 inch. So I'd say the 17 inch will give you a little more adjustability to be long enough to be comfortable with. When I mounted this front cross member here, I had it pushed as far forward as it go for radiator clearance. So maybe that's why I'm having an issue here. But yeah, oh, these are 1/2 inch eyelets on those, just FYI. So I'm just gonna finish mounting and go order another bar. Looks like I got 2 different sizes. All right, for the engine harness, should be pretty simple to hook up. Let's start, lay it on in your valve cover, hook up all your coil packs. Then I got a budget harness that wasn't labeled, so I went through and labeled it with the K20 pin out. But yeah, don't do that. Just get one that's labeled and loomed. It'll make everything easier and look a lot nicer. Then that's gonna run out to here. You're gonna have your coolant temp, your 2 cam sensors, CMP A and B. Then I also have fuel pressure gauge. That's not part of this swap harness. Then you just kind of break up your harness into sections. The first one that comes off are all your transmission stuff. So shift solenoid, I don't need that. This is a 5-speed, but that go like right there. Vehicle speed sensor. I'm using the cable, but I mean, if you're using electrical, then that'd go back there. And this is reverse lights, so it's gonna go there. Then kind of, break this into sections. So I have a starter. It's obviously gonna go down to the starter. This is for the dash temp. So that's gonna run to here. Mine wasn't really grounding well, so I just have this little ground hook to it until I fix that. Your fan switch. My fan switch is right here, but wherever you mounted yours. You got your alternator plug and the charge wire. Run those to your alternator. Your knock sensors back right there. Your 4 injector wires. Just run them up through right here. I usually do that first. Your TPS. I have an adapter because I have a B series TPS on mine. Your map sensor. Boom. Idle air control valve on the bottom. You don't have it plugged off. And your intake air temperature. So it's gonna go somewhere over there. What else? That's pretty much it for that side. All right. For the other side of the harness, that's gonna run inside. You have a ground. And you have your 2 plugs right here for your VTEC oil pressure for that one, and your solenoid right there. And then you have your oil pressure sender right here. And your VTC oil control solenoid valve right there. And then, oh, can you see it? The crank sensor right there. And that's all to hook up over here. All right, power and grounds. I just made my own out of some 6-gauge wire and 1/4 inch terminals. I'll start with the grounds. You got your chassis to your negative post right there. I put 2 on the transmission. I don't have the bolt correct thread pitch for that, so I just put a bolt through it for now. I got 1 right here, both hooked up. I have 1 on my intake manifold, and then just the 1 back here from the chassis to the valve cover. And for power, I got 1 just running to this breaker. It's a 150 or 200. Can't remember. I think I mixed them up. And that's just going to a power distribution block on the other side of the firewall. Then you got your starter. This one's just temporary. I'm gonna hook the starter and the amp to their own 250 amp breaker, but that works for now. Not exactly safe, but all right. And then I was having a grounding problem with my temperature sensor for the dash temp. Just grounded it right there for now. So I fixed that. Okay, onto your sub harness install. So they'll give you this really long C313 connector. Well, this is a DX model. I think the HF and the SI have a different plug. But when you order it, they need you to tell them your year and if you have the base model or whatever. But this is for your reverse and fan control, I believe. I'm gonna deepen the plug and put it through the firewall, a little hole where my clutch used to go. But I'm just making sure everything works first. So run that guy inside. I have a real mess down here. And that's the plug. And here's your sub harness. Zoom out. You got these 2 together on the end. 1 goes to the brown. This goes to that. For your C313. And then you're gonna have your relay for your O2 sensor heater. Your O2 sensor is gonna run back out down to your O2 sensor. And you have your E plug for your ECU. Then it's gonna have 3 loose wires, a green, brown, and a white. That's kind of where they go. The brown's over here. Then you're gonna have to cut into your OBD0 plugs. So we'll start with the green wire. That's for your fuel pump control. And it's gonna go to A12. Oh, my light died. Fuck. Alright. Another little thing with Kswap. Not completely necessary, but this was out of an EF sedan. I hope that would work, but of course it doesn't. So just use the OEM little console piece. You just have to trim out that bottom tray around where this shifter hole was. Back up. Just take your time, make it nice. I still might put a little rubber trimmer on that. Just clean up the edge. But then you probably want new carpet too, because it's all cut up through here. But it's only like 160 bucks from Stock Interiors, and it fits real well. Really easy to install. But oh, it was really close right there. So something to keep in mind when you mount your shifter. But I got lucky. And yeah, interior looks, she's looking tits. But I still gotta replace this seat. The back seats all in. Yeah, subwoofer, amp. I still need to find a cargo cover. But yeah, looks pretty legit. I still haven't decided if I'm gonna redo this, like wrap it or something. Kind of like her little battle wounds. Crazy X, keyed my car, bitch. But we'll see.